The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits. What's up, Octo Nation? It's Charlie. I'm going to be your host for today. So we had a market correction midweek last week, and I kind of feel responsible for not letting y'all know that, okay? I should have seen it coming from a mile away, but to be honest, I haven't even looked at the big index charts in like over a week, I think, okay? Just totally crazy. I just have been like, whatever, man, they're fine. They're going up. It's my responsibility to look at those, and I should be checking them daily for y'all. But I think the best idea going forward is for me to keep checking them daily, but also to help you guys and girls figure out how to look at it yourself, because I can only have my eyes and brain in so many places at one time. I'm still going to be focusing on news, upcoming plays that we can get on. But the more I can help you guys get trained up and we can work together as a family with our tentacles all out, helping each other out, the more we can help each other out and make more money and protect ourselves in the end. So what I want to get into here is just basic charting. I'm going to get into the most used platform. It is free to start. You're going to get some ads popping up here and there, but this is still by far the industry standard for charting. If you need a link to it, it is going to be down in the description of the video. You just click it and it will take you right to it. What you're going to do when you're there is you're going to come in here and click right about in this area, and it will say sign up. Okay. From there, you can click on, it's going to give you a choice whether you want basic, pro plus, premium. To start out, if you want, you can just do the basic. Like I said, you're going to get pop-ups, and it's kind of annoying. Okay? You end up having to like reload your screen. It's a pain, right? The pro gets rid of some ads. It gives you a little bit more freedom, but obviously the more you spend, the more indicators, the more everything you get. At first, try out the basic. You'll definitely get the feel of it. Still got tons of features on it if you like it, and then the only thing holding you back is just the ads. Then you can move up to the pro and stair step from there. However, we're going to go over just the basic version today, and I'm going to try to keep this as basic as possible to at least get our feet and our toes dipped right into the sandbox, okay? So once you sign up for that, where you're going to be, it's going to put you, it's just going to ask for your email address, sign up, click here. And then once you're done with that, it'll take you to this screen here. This is kind of your home page. Now, where I spend 99% of my time is right here. So you want to click over here right in the middle in the top here. It says chart. Let's go ahead and click that. So right away, you get an ad. Like I said, bothered by changing tabs all the time? If you want upgrade, you can get this and this and this. So to start off, actually, you know what? We need to go back and click on, here we go. Right over your name here, click this arrow. See how it says dark color theme? You want to make sure that's on. It's going to start off. You want to make sure that's on, because if you're staring at this thing all day, it jacks your eyes up. In fact, I highly recommend getting a blue light filter installed on your computer or cell phone, whatever you got. You need to have a blue light filter on there, because that messes up your nervous system and your brain and your pineal gland and all that stuff. So blue light filter, then switch it to dark. Just trust me. That way we can look at it all day long and we're still fine. Then from there, we're going to go chart. Then from there, on the top left, what you're going to see is usually a ticker. I'm not sure if yours is going to pop up with a ticker on it, but regardless, this is where you can enter a ticker, a stock you like, all right? So right now it's on one called Northern Genesis. I'm guessing that's carried over from a different account I have, because I had to create a new one for this video. So there you can click that and type in, say, stocks, futures. It'll have them all up here. Say we wanted Tesla. Oh, it's in white NC. There you go. So you can type in the actual name of the company, or you can type in the ticker and it will still find it for you. Notice on the right hand side, it's got the flag. Depending on what country you're in, you want to make sure you're in that flag, because people in Canada or Japan or whatever, they might have a different ticker. So make sure that's corresponding to your country. For mine, it automatically is usually set to America, but still always make sure your eye glances over there to check, because I have looked at some what I thought were American tickers and ended up being the wrong one before. You don't want to end up buying or trying to find the wrong one. Okay, so there. First things first, get up a ticker that you might be interested in. Maybe one you're already in, or maybe you're looking at getting one. Just bringing this up, I automatically see a bunch of lines to draw. We'll get into that in a second, but right next to that, you're going to see something that says 1H. That's going to be 1 hour ticker. So that's showing each one of these candlesticks is a movement for 1 hour. Okay, so the lower you go on this, the more lines you're going to see. So if we go all the way down to, let's say, 5 seconds, I might not be able to go that low. Okay, you can't go that. You can only go to, I think we can only go to minute on the free version. Okay, so we go down to 1 minute on the free version here, which is still usually totally fine, unless you're like super day trading and you're trying to get 0.5% or 1%, but still 1 minute, you're probably still totally fine if you're always looking at the macro picture, which is what I try to focus on and try to teach the most anyway. So we'll stick with the 1 minute here, okay? But if you want, you can move it down to day. This is kind of the industry standard if you're trying to zoom out and get a big macro picture. This down here, this is one of the areas you're going to be getting pop-ups. You can exit out of them by clicking those. Then you get another pop-up. Okay. One of the first things you want to know is if you've got a mouse or a laptop, you can use the wheel of it. This part here, and that will zoom you in and out. Your keyboard will also, if your keyboard's got a zoomer, mine does. I'm on a desktop right now. It'll move in and out with that too. Another feature that you've got to be aware of right away is over here. See where the price is at? On the right-hand side, it says USD. That's American dollars, 525 down to 0. A lot of times, if you're scrolling in and out, or you're moving from days to the 5-minute chart, always check the different time sections. That helps you kind of see what's going on. But sometimes it gets all jumbled and it's too zoomed in or something like that, or you zoom in too much and you can't figure it out. You can come over here to the pricing structure. You can left click and then either drag down or up. Okay, and so that totally moves the chart and moves out in a horizontal manner. So then I'm zooming out with my mouse here, but watch when I grab this and zoom in, it extends it up. So you can use both of these, your scroller and this at the same time, to manipulate and see the full picture. You'll get an eye for where it's supposed to be. You definitely don't want to, if you're 2 years out and your stock chart looks like this, you're either in a weird penny stock or you need to zoom out. Okay, use this puppy to zoom out. So there you go. And then let's go back up here to the top left again. Next to the 5 minute, the timestamp or mark, you've got the candle choices. You can go from bars, hollow candles, like an ashen, lines, areas, baseline, ring, all this. I recommend maybe just starting like with the candles and kind of going from there. Okay, you'd probably be fine just keeping that there all the time. Next to that is going to be a plus sign for compare or add a symbol. What does that mean? This is really cool. This is kind of an overlay. You're going to stick another ticker on top or behind this ticker. So it's like a layer you're slapping on top. So for instance, if we want to compare, we have Tesla up, but if we want to compare it to, it already gives you some options here, such as the S&P 500, the Dow 30, etc. You can actually add any symbol you want, but like this, we're just going to click on the S&P 500, then exit off of here. And you can see the price movement and action down below here in the red. That's actually the S&P 500 now. Now this is a lot of times where the zooming in and out can help, because if you start adding more and more of these on there, because of the price difference and all that, it can really get all funky. So again, you're gonna have to kind of move this stuff around to help you get a better feel. Like if you zoom in, it starts bouncing crazy, but this is good because a lot of stocks correlate with the S&P 500, or like the dollar versus bonds, or dollars with gold and silver, things like that. A lot of tech kind of all moves the same, as such as like the QQQ you can look up. You can compare them, and it's good to put a chart on so you can say, okay, if this chart is going down, a lot of times this one starts going up. So sometimes you can do that and find similarities that no one's talking about, maybe, that I don't even know about. So it's always kind of good to throw one on here to try to compare. Now, if you want to remove this whole setup here, pretend like it's an actual program and not an actual website, because you can actually right click on things, unless you're on a Mac. But on Windows, you can right click stuff. You can paste, add alerts, trade, add to watch list, change lines, color themes, light, dark. You can move it there, settings, all that. But you can come in and click on this red line, which is that S&P 500, and say we want to remove it. Just click it, and then you can actually click the delete button on your keyboard, or you can right click it and copy it, and you can like paste it somewhere else later on, or you can click remove it, or again delete on your keyboard, and then boom, it's gone. Next to that is the indicators and strategies. I don't really want to get into these too deep. I will go ahead and tell you to add on EMA. Let's go with so what you do is you type in EMA, go with the 20, 50, 100, 200. I think that'd be a good one to at least have up for you. I'm not sure if I can add another one. I'm gonna try the SMMA also. Let's go with the 513 cross that popped up here. Okay, it's letting us. So I think that these will kind of give you a generalized guide. After you learn to draw the lines, you can kind of turn these on and start watching these and look at the past and see what happens. For instance, like this SMMA, the cross that I just pulled up, it literally is telling you to buy and sell. Now, should you always buy and sell when that says that? Of course not. But this at least kind of gets your eye trained. Don't stare at the circle or the green buy thing. Just look what's happening in the chart, in the big picture. Okay, draw out your lines first, that we're going to get into here in a second, and then you might want to turn this on, but make your guesses first, and then you can turn this on to kind of see it and use this as a guide, but never on a way to trade. Okay, now these things that we just added here, they're showing up here on the top left. If you hover over, for instance, the SMMA over here, there's an eyeball. So showing, not showing, seeing, not seeing. Hover over it, says hide. Boom, we hid that. So now we turn that off. And again, you can actually come in here to the chart and click it and click delete, or right click it. Also, you can do that. You can click on the cog next to it and you can actually change the coloring of it. All sorts of options, the length, the source, all that. So we'll keep that off for now. Then the next one we put up is the EMA. So this is kind of the moving average, right? When it says 20, 50, 100, 200, those are the day average, basically. Let's just call it that. So you can kind of see that, for instance, over here, see how it's trading below all those lines? That usually means it's in a downward slope. Now, once it gets above all those lines, the averages, that means it's pretty much in a confirmed bull market. Okay? There are a lot of algorithms out there in computers that trade for people. And a lot of those use either the 50 or the 200-day moving average and literally just buy according to that. Now, you can still play the other side of that. And if you know that right away, and you see it coming, you can already react before they do too. And of course, every programmer can have their own program set up to move it. Maybe instead of the 200-day, they can have it at the 180 days, so they're ahead also. But these are just kind of things to keep in mind and to help you confirm your thesis after you are already putting in lines. Okay. So again, we can turn this one down here. We've got another ad here. I'm going to click that off. You can see here, press and hold control while zooming to maintain chart position. That's great. So you can do that. You can hold control. Down below here, this is like the most critical indicator you're going to ever find. And this is something that will tell you the future, if anything, other than the lines we're going to draw here in a second. This is the volume. Very, very, very important to always pay attention to the volume. One thing you'll notice is a lot of times, in fact, let's go ahead and go up to here. The volume is already standard on your program here. Let's go ahead and hit the cog here. Then we're going to go over to, it says inputs. We're going to actually click on style. Then let's click on the green here. And then down below, we're going to bring it all the way to 100. This means we can actually see it a little bit better. Okay? And you can actually make the lines a little bit thicker too if you want. I think they're kind of fine low on this. And then the red, we're going to click that and make that nice and bright too. I like these super bright so I can see them better. You can also click this volume MA. This is the moving average, volume moving average. And then you can click OK. You see how it's got those dots on it? That just means it's kind of selected. You can click off it anywhere on the screen and it will delete it. So next we want to click on, these are some like default other lines you can add and play with. Again, don't even get into these yet, okay? Focus on what we're going to get to with the line drawing. These are creating alerts. You can create alerts on these. You can play around with that if you want. You can go backwards, undo. You know, this is basically like a word processor or even Photoshop. So what we're going to get into next is drawing lines. Trying to find stuff, trying to find some lines, okay? Over here on the left, your basic just clicker and mover over here is this top left one that's got the 4 hash marks. Pretty much just usually gonna leave that there. You can pick whichever one you want, doesn't matter. This is the most common line that you're going to be using for drawing. This is called the quote-unquote trend line. For any of my current subscribers, you know that any line that I draw above where the price is currently at, I like to keep green. That way we know we want to come and hit it. And any line that I draw below where the current price is at, I try to keep red. That way we know we don't want to hit it, okay? Or at least we're aware of it. So after you click on this, you can click it again. There's an arrow here. It moves over. Here's all sorts of other options. Again, we're focusing on the trend line. So make sure on that. You see this little pop-up that happened over here. The first one we're going to click on is the color. We want to make this green. Then next to that, this is the thickness, the style of it. The first one, width, I like making it very apparent. I at least like the second or the third thickness. And what you want to look for is just if you could lay a piece of lumber on top of a couple of these lines and make a straight line. In fact, the more lines that you can connect and make a straight line with, the more weight it should carry in your thesis of where the price is going. Okay? It's usually good to draw lines at the very top of action. For instance, we could have one here because this is the very top. It's always good to draw from the top and go down to current or previous price action and see what we can come up with too. So you kind of want to start at the top. So I just made a boo-boo there and accidentally clicked here. You can click it and delete it. See how this trash can gets brought up? Or you can right click and delete it. Or on your keyboard, you can press Control Z. All right, and that's saying undo. So let's grab it again. It's automatically green, automatically got my thick line. Let's draw a line from the top and see if we can't connect it. Throw this board on top of some other lines. Now, the more lines that you can connect, the more reliable this should be. So where do you guys, okay, I see right here how we're touching this one. We're touching about 4 times here, and then we're gonna touch it about 2 times here, and come back down, and you can also hit it from the back. So now it's using it as support here, and support is gonna be the bottom of where the price action is at. Resistance is going to be what's on top of it. So we want to head towards the resistance and try to break through resistance and continue north above it, but never go all the way down to the red line. So I think that we could easily draw a line definitely here, and that would touch us 1, 2, 3 times, or we could draw it here, 1, 2, maybe even here, no. Maybe something like that. I think it's probably gonna hit a lot, but we could also do it here. There's no exact perfect way. I would say it's pretty darn close to hitting here with these tickers also. Now, you can see that the price action here is above it, so we actually want to make this one red because we don't want to go below that, right? So one thing to definitely keep in mind is that these channels here that are, going to 45-degree angles and whatnot, these are never going to be as powerful, and they shouldn't be as powerful in your thesis, your overall thesis of what exactly is going on. You want to pay attention to the horizontal lines, these ones going left and right, not the ones going here. You want the straight ones like that, okay? These will always hold more weight. Something to always watch more often than anything else, other than the volume and the whole big picture itself. But regardless, I went ahead and drew the rest in for Tesla here. You can see this red one here, right? Why did I draw it red? Because we want to stay above the red. We're currently literally sitting right there. But I drew this in because you see way back over here, we had tagged this thing like 7 times in a row. That's a telltale indicator we should draw a line. And if we were back over here, we should have already drawn this because we saw it kind of tag something. We should draw that line in. But look, it used it twice over here. You see, it came down, up, and then boom, it rejected itself there, and now it's sitting right there. That's how it ended the day on Friday. And so above that, because we got tagged twice above it, should be another line. So you go back and guess what? Sure enough, you want to start from way back and draw that horizontal ray across, okay? This one here. We want to grab this horizontal ray because you can just click once and it will shoot it all the way across for you. So instead of having to trend line and move it all vertically, it'll just do that for you. Okay? So you can see that, it's been hit there. So what do we have now? We have a horizontal channel. Okay? These tell us some great stories. These tell us that we are currently sitting at the bottom. If this rejects and goes south, that is not good. We want to at least stay in this channel. And if it tags here and keeps going north upside this into bull, we should definitely be broken into definite bull. So again, if I were to put in a buy here, I'd probably be a buyer if I was going to buy it at like 432, a little bit above it. Because a lot of times what will happen, it'll do a bull fake out, where it will come up and then try to grab some bulls in and then come back right down back into the channel and then maybe come tag the red and then come back up is what it will do. So it'll mess with you and do stuff like that. Over here you want to take a look. Usually when you get to the top of channels, you'll see one big indicator that it's topping out to is you'll have 2 times at least that it'll come down with these candles and tag basically the same part, okay? So what do you want to do? Always go back in time and throw in a horizontal ray. So bam, and it'll shoot it straight across. So now we've got that line to use for our next channel. So once Tesla now breaks the 420, let's call it 430, 32, once it's definitely in bull, it should keep running. You can grab this underneath the ray, the paintbrush, and it should be doing something like this next. Maybe that, and then come up, whatever. You'll do something like that. Again, Control Z, or you can click it and click delete. You want to go back to this clicker when you're messing around. And then at the very top, where stuff is at all-time highs, of course, you always want to draw it. Just grab a ray, come over here, click hold, click horizontal ray, click and push it over. Don't want the purple yet. So the next one we're going to take a look at is being able to add stuff. Like you come over here and add a ticker. You can type in whatever ticker you want, the name or the ticker itself. It'll add it, just like we're doing over there. So we're gonna go look at the salt and pepper. Okay, you click this to get over there. All the rest of this stuff, don't pay attention to yet. I already drew these in for us. So we had a line here because we tagged it 1-2 times, drew it across it, tagged it, 1-2 times here, then it's tagged it and it's currently sitting here too. So once you see it sitting there, go back in time, go back as far as you can, and it could be something that's like 10, 20 years old, and it could still be grabbing trend lines. Crazy. You can see some 10 or 20 year lines that are still being used as resistance or support, which is absolutely crazy. Again, this isn't the best example here to show a line. I mean, just look how parabolic and insane the S&P was. You could definitely draw a line kind of like that, like it was doing something like this. And then we're going to grab a red one. So in the past, we're just kind of showing kind of what it looked like. This is technically a bull flag. Okay, so when you draw these two lines together like this, and it's pointed up, that means it's probably it gets tighter and tighter into this channel at the very tip of the triangle. And the tighter it gets, the harder it usually breaks, either north or south. But usually on these, most of the time, this will break south and go bear. But this actually broke and went bull. In fact, it gapped up, which is nuts. And this was a telltale sign that, dude, this is out of control. If we would have been watching this, we should have known, dude, that this was coming crashing down, because this is absolutely crazy. It shouldn't be doing this unless some company like just got a deal with Amazon, or something like that. Then it could do that. That makes sense. But why is S&P doing that? It's gapping up out of that flag. So again, most of the times, let's grab the paintbrush over here. It'll come up here, it'll get tight, and then it will break south, okay? So be careful when you see that. When they're headed down, like in this channel here, oops, let's go back to this thing here. Let's see if we can't draw, you're not the best example. In fact, it's flipped. It should be getting narrower and narrower down the channel, but regardless, this is still considered like a bull flag-ish, meaning when it's going down like that and it getting tight and flagged like that, it usually go break north. Look what happened. Broke north. It looks almost exactly the same as Tesla. Okay, it came up, reconfirmed, and retagged, and now we're sitting right at the base of this. Okay, and so we're either going to break south or it's going to break up and stay in this channel. All right. And the only other line we have is actually way up here. So this is actually going to be a big channel. I drew in this gold because this is how when I buy stuff or I put in a buy, this is like how I would put in a buy, right? If I was going to buy the S&P, I wouldn't put it right here and be like, I'm going to get it for a good deal. No, because this could break south and you don't want to do that. You want to catch it on its way up, not just chilling, maybe going to go down. All right, you want to catch it on the way up. Pay a little bit more and buy it like that, trust me. So you can put it in a little bit above there and then try to catch it on the way up in the middle of a channel, because we already drew out the channel. So chances are it's going to continue all the way to 3501. So that's why we're more than happy to pay a little more and get up there. And so, we want it to keep going above that. Now, like, let's say, during this blue line, like say this is how the chart ends up going, right? So grab this, tag this in, it's headed up. So you should have put in your stop sell order or your trailing stop basically right after you bought it to protect yourself. You can manage your own risk. You've got to figure that out. But as long as you do that, the profits will always take care of themselves. So just keep that in mind. Regardless, if you see the channel coming up, you should definitely have your stop loss in right below it. If it came down something like this, you should maybe put it in right below that, because chances are it's either going to hit this up here, the resistance, okay? It's either going to hit this and consolidate, reject back down, and then, who knows, go back down to pull, or it's going to hit this, maybe consolidate and slice right through and go north again. But regardless, I use these purple lines as when I put my cells in and where they're at. So start them where the time frame you put them in, So maybe you put it in here right when you bought it. That's why I put in the gold here, so I know when I put the buy order in to know that, okay, it was down here. I put the buy order in above that because I'm a good boy to write it up. And then, put your sell now that's above it. Okay, now I'm following it up, following my stop sell up. You can put as tight as you want. Never be afraid of taking that green. All right. You can also use the text thing here. Click this T, and then you click an area, and then boom, you type in whatever you want. You just click OK. Click your color, your font, bold, italicized, whatever you want, and then you can click it and move it around. Change the color, click up here, change the color of it. I'll do stuff like this for SPACs for sure, because there's so many of them, so many tickers, and I'll click on one and be like, I don't even know what this is, and then I'll have the notes in there, something real quick, like they're targeting candy shops, 300 million in their pocket, 6 months till the end of buy time or something like that. So I'm going to end this right here. I think there's enough information for the first video in this for part 1. Anything else you definitely want me to go over on the next one? I think this is definitely going to lay a good foundation to at least get everyone on track and kind of be starting to look at the big picture, drawing the horizontals, drawing the verticals, pay attention to that volume, okay? So if you haven't liked or subscribed to the video, please do it. I try to come out with videos almost daily. If you have any recommendations, definitely put them in the comments, and please share this with your friends, and y'all have a good rest of the weekend.